Hello, let's take a little bit of a dive into ADA. We'll look big picture and then we will look short term. So ADA, what's really interesting here, you know, if we talk about simple trend, this is a weekly chart. A simple trend is higher highs and higher lows. A simple downtrend is lower highs and lower lows. So if you're looking for a bottom, as soon as you see a lower high, you get excited because potentially, if we take out this high, we've changed the downtrend, haven't we? So this is the exciting level we're going to be watching in ADA. And previous lows and highs, you know, even if you don't look at fibs or moving averages or anything else, they're important. For example, here we had a double bottom. It was support, then resistance. Then when we popped above it, we went pretty strong to the next resistance and these lows and highs. And so we can say the same thing here about this bottom that we're hopefully making in ADA. So the first thing we can say is that that this low here wasn't very clear. But this low and this low potentially are important support levels. And you can see that the market has been reacting. Maybe not so much to this spike low, but clearly above 0.4, we will see more upside, and we can count this as a measured move. So we can go from this low to this high, project it from here. Our first target is this 61.8, which, gosh, here is at the highs, 0.4108. And the second equal measured move target should be 0.4807. But I like the levels that line up with other levels, and I like this 1.618. So, for example, if we're going to see a really impulsive move, wave 3 very often is 1.618 of wave 1, and that would take us to these highs here and 0.59. And that's a really nice 20% move, isn't it? Just from 0.41 to 0.5, you know, we're doing really well if we can do that. Let's put it that way. 50% move to 0.6, isn't it? 0.4 to 0.6, we've got a 50% move. So important resistance zone, really between this low here, which is at 0.38 and 0.41. 0.38, 0.41 therefore could become a really difficult zone. And when I look at ADA, what my issue here is, I think this was a pretty nice rally, but we couldn't take out these previous highs and lows around 0.41. And this doesn't look clearly like a very nice three-wave correction. So I'm being really cautious, and I really want to see ADA prove itself. Otherwise, I'm a bit worried that we're just going to go A and then a B leg and then another leg lower before we make a bottom. Now, I'm not ruling it out, and these moving averages on the daily could be really supportive if we can hold above them. So let's look at this here on the 4 in ADA. Because at the moment we're struggling at these previous highs, and remember this 0.39 level is that previous spike low support and resistance, and if we look left, it is a little bit of an issue. It's not that clear, but there we are. And the other reason this is a little bit risky, let's measure low to high. What's this, 3 waves? This is potentially an equal measured move level in ADA. So short term, if we're going to have another go and tackle this nasty resistance zone, first off, we want to see a close above 0.3885. And our key trend support, a breakdown for me, would be a daily close back underneath 0.3610. If we close back underneath this level, it's likely that, you know, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 in a 3-wave corrective move. So for me, that would mean from here, remember, Elliott wave isn't my number one thing. Gosh, all the way back down to these lows, maybe a 786, back to down to 0.31. So important resistance, important support. Now, when I look at this doesn't look to me like a very clear one ABC. In fact, what looks more likely to me is that we did one of those running correct. So we've gone A and then A, B, C for a B leg, and we could do another leg higher from here. And so that means that we're actually at this 61.8, and that more likely we're going to go to 4,087 if we hold fib the 236 or the 38.2 fib from this low. So 0.37. So I actually think that that's much more likely a way to count this at the moment, especially because this move in the middle was 3 waves and we could still be bullish. So I'm going to say, if I was already long, I wouldn't want to see a close underneath 0.368 on a 4-hour. And if we can stay, and that's the 4-hour 20, and if we can stay above it, I'm going to still look for a little bit higher to 0.41 from here. If we get, month-end rallies, or if we get a breakout in Bitcoin, we could very easily see that. I could see ADA doing this move up to here, with Bitcoin doing that move to 30,000 before we get a bigger pullback. So this potentially is a pretty nasty resistance zone, and we could go lower from here, but I don't know unless we get underneath that 0.3681. That's going to be my key support. And yes, I think that there is possibility for ADA to continue higher if this support level holds. But otherwise, I'm afraid it's not like a screaming buy for me yet, and I would much rather wait and see ADA, above these highs and make a lovely big inverted head and shoulders pattern. It's just such a tricky resistance zone, really. We should mark it as that. Yeah. And then these previous highs, it's bigger than that, isn't it? Above 0.42 and holding above 0.42, and these highs and lows would be really, really a good thing. Now, if we go back to the weekly, so I talked about that 1.618 level, so and back to these highs, 0.59 would be where I'd be looking for, but at the moment it's just not clear that we aren't going to do another push lower first. Okay, hope that's useful. Take care. We'll keep watching this one and see how we go.